Hello there. I'm hoping this is going to be a fairly short one today. So, you might think that's a strange title. I suppose it is, um, because people are everywhere. Um, but you know, I use social media like most people. I don't use it that much, but I do use it to promote my work. So, I'm using things like YouTube to promote my work. Um, Facebook a lot, a little bit of Instagram, which I should do a lot more often, but I can't be bothered, to be honest. I don't really like using it. And that's about it, really. I will use Substack as well. And of course, I've got various email addresses for different things. Um, but it's just, to me, it's just work. It's just, uh, I have my writing, my books, and my articles, and I want people to read that. So that's what um, a lot of my use of social media, etc., is for, to encourage people to read my books and to read my articles. And I make these videos in part to encourage that, but also because I like to make social commentary about the way we live and what's going on in the world and about various other things, history, religion, spirituality, whatever, gardening. I just basically do whatever interests me and what I think might interest other people. Um, and if it makes money, great. And if it doesn't make a lot of money, I don't really care. But there's a very frightening trend of people sort of just trying to make money out of themselves, really. They become the product. And with YouTube, there's a lot of people. They're just making content, not to make good content or to make stuff that's particularly interesting, but just purely to try and make clickbait that's going to earn them lots and lots of YouTube income. So it doesn't have to be any good. It could be complete trash. You can be like embarrassing yourself, making a complete fool of yourself. But it's this idea that all publicity is good publicity. I would totally agree with that. If you make yourself look like a moron, how is that a good thing? And there's people who've made these videos where they make themselves look completely pathetic or stupid or idiotic, and they're quite happy with that because they got 2 million likes or whatever views and a load of money out of it. So, and you've got this terrible, terrible phenomenon of OnlyFans and other similar like websites where people, they can just upload videos themselves, you know, and they'll make some money. Or that's the idea. I think a tiny percentage of people, it's women really rather than men, um, who upload sort of like adult content like that actually make any real money. But the thing is, it's there. The internet is like more or less forever, really, isn't it? So if you're showing off your body to random strangers, or you're looning around and making yourself look like a pathetic idiot, or doing like stupid dares, like, I don't know, eating a pile of dog shit or something, all that's going to be there forever, pretty much. You know, and what? Why? For what? Just to make a few quid. Why destroy yourself? Why make yourself look like an absolutely worthless person? Um, by commodifying your own personality and turning yourself into some kind of a product. For most of these influencers and people who've got internet famous, it lasts for however long, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years maybe, and then the internet's moved on. Nobody cares anymore. They're yesterday's news, and some of these people just can't cope. They're struggling to adjust to being a normal person again, and they could become more and more desperate in their attempts to continue to be famous and to commodify their lives. And these things follow you around. It's like having a history as an adult, as a pornographic actor. That's going to be with you forever. Your grandchildren are probably going to be able to watch videos of you doing the nasty, in the future. Who the hell really wants that? People don't really think these things through, and they're making like terrible, terrible low quality content that's also humiliating as well. And like this need to get more attention. Why? Why is it so desperate? I mean, I like to think my content is a bit thoughtful, that I've got something interesting to say. Maybe I'm being egotistical in thinking I got anything that the public wants to hear. But, I try to talk about something that's serious, real issues. I'm trying to stay away from just trivial crap. And, I can't think of a video that I've made that I feel ashamed of. I think everything I've put out there has been thought through in advance to some extent, and then I just go and ad lib when I actually make the videos. But I've thought about what I'm going to say first. I'm not just trying to make a fool of myself in order to get clicks and get money. And to be honest, I don't really care if I get any money out of doing this. It's more about the work I'm trying to do, the message I'm trying to get across, and hoping that it will resonate with other people, that they'll listen, that they'll get something out of it. And maybe it'll stimulate people with their own conversations, their own thoughts about their own lives. So I really think that we should stop encouraging people, children especially, and teenagers, to stop living their life by the number of likes, the number of clicks, how much revenue they've made through TikTok or whatever. It's really, really harmful to people. And if your self-esteem is dependent on how many people watched what you're doing or clicked or liked, then you've got a real problem, in my opinion. You need to get grounded in the real world. So I think people not very long ago just lived lives that were sort of connected by email, connected by text message, and video chats and all that kind of thing. So that networking has been available, sort of social media sites like Facebook, etc. But it's all mutated into sort of narcissism and self-publicity, rather than people just sharing what's going on in their life. People curating their lives now for online content. I mean, how pathetic is that? Just live your own bloody life. You do not need to turn your life into a movie for people to see online. And I don't have any respect for anybody that does that. I really don't. I think it's pathetic. So, how about a bit of authenticity? How about just being yourself instead of trying to just sell yourself as a product? I think this is all really, really mentally unhealthy. And I think the more you step back into the real world and your values and what you care about are actually based in actual physical real reality, the better it is going to be for you, and the happier you're probably going to be. So, I mean, I understand people want to make money. Sure, I want to make money. I want to sell some books and, the magazine I run and various other things. It's not like I want to live in a mud hut and have no money ever at all. I'm not saying that we should reject all commercialism, but you don't have to turn yourself into a commodity. There is a sort of middle ground where you You can have commercial activity, but you don't have to sell your soul at the same time. Okay, I think that'll do. That's about 10 minutes, I think. And yeah, I hope you liked what I had to say. Please feel free to comment. If you enjoyed it, do click like. And well, if you didn't, then don't bother. Give me a thumbs down if you thought it was a load of old crap. Be honest. And if you like what I'm doing, subscribe. It would be great. That would help. I don't really make any money out of YouTube, but I do hope that people will come back and watch my videos that have enjoyed the ones I've made so far, or some of them at least. So the best way to do that is to subscribe. Okay, thank you for watching, and bye for now.